All right, everybody. I think that we might be live here. If someone could let me know if you can see my screen and if you can hear me okay. By see my screen, I'm saying, can you see the RSI? Can you see all of our price action and everything like that? You can see our ticker. You can see from left to right here. Just let me know what you guys can see out there, and then we'll start moving from there. Seems like we can somewhat see the screen on my end. So I'll wait to get a heads up from one of you. Let me know how you can hear and everything. I'll wait so that we're not talking into the dead air right now. See if I can find a way using the mobile phone to see how many viewers we have here. Hey, what's up, Addie? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear my voice at all, Addie? You should maybe also. All right, cool. You guys can hear me. Okay. Thank you guys for all being here. Let's get this party started. Spam those little emoji things. And remember, the more we chat, the more people can see this stream and be aware of it. So if you guys have socials, you know, if you wouldn't mind sharing this across your social medias and letting people know that we're live right now. I think you might actually get to watch a Bitcoin reversal here. We've been tracking it live in the Discord this morning so far. Let's go over there. And I think the biggest thing that we need to talk about right now is Bitcoin, right? We need to talk about that because Bitcoin is what everything else hinges on. So if we can understand where we start and where we're going, it will give us a much clearer picture with our altcoins, okay? So first of all, we were watching Bitcoin this morning on a very low time frame in the community on a 15-minute, and we established a pivot from low to high and placed our retrace supports onto that. We can then see that we have an amazing reaction to the golden pocket area and also an internal fair value gap when we look to the left. By an internal fair value gap, we mean an area of liquidity that was left behind in the chart during the ascent to the upside. And it is formed by 3 candles, okay? So you can see the 3 candles are this gray one, the big blue separating candle, and the next gray one. We leave a gap of liquidity from this wick to the top of those candles, okay? When we did that and left that area behind, we knew, hey, this is an internal fair value gap. It's a very high area of liquidity for the chart to come back to. It's like a magnet. Pulled it right back into it. And on a 15-minute, we formed a 15-minute bullish hammer candle or 50% candle, whatever you want to call it. Just meaning that the candle is comprised of more wick than it is body. So it made a bullish pivot here. We waited for the third 15-minute candle, and we knew that we were likely forming a pivot point here, okay? After that was done, then you were able to take your risk and mitigate it, right? Initially, our risk was down here with us not wanting to lose the low of the structure of the 15-minute time frame. Once you're able to start forming this pivot, we can get our stop loss up to the lows here, right? So now, at this point, 99,618 is a stop loss or an invalidation point, and we're looking for now moving to an hourly time frame so we can see what's going on. And we get a base channel on this move up, right? The base channel is going to let us know really quickly, is this move corrective, or is this, sorry for that, guys, it automatically chooses minutes, or is this move impulsive, right? Things that are corrective don't typically break out of a base channel, right? They kind of run into resistance here and fall back. But as you can see on a 30-minute, this was our last internal fair value gap created by those 3 candles coming down. We came into it, we got plenty of acceptance in it, making it higher probability that the price action was going to continue to move up and sweep this external liquidity on these highs, right? And do what after? Move into the next internal fair value gap that we'll note here when we go to the hourly time frame. All right, looks like we have quite a few people here, guys. Thanks everybody for showing up. This is really fun. I like doing the live streams the most. I think that they give us the ability to share things and to actually cover a lot more, right? So after I got my base channel on here, I placed it from the low to the high of that pivot we talked earlier. We could then see on lower time frames that we come into some center line resistance, right? And then what do we notice after that, guys? We talked about this in our other streams also. We build a pin board support or a tail bar support of a candle off of a center line and begin to move upwards, right? So not only did we have the base channel, but we also had our extensions that we placed from low to high to low. That gave us this gateway drug 0.618 green trend line, green trend-based fib extension you can see on the screen. And again, what did we build off of it? A tail bar or pin bar support off of off of a resistance, right? So we have center line reactions, we have gateway drug reactions. Now we're at the top of the channel, and Bitcoin is still charging hard, right? So I think we're still in good territory here. Let's move to the hourly. And because of our extensions placed, our trend-based fib extensions placed from the low to the high to the low, we can see the great reactions at the 618 we talked about on lower time frames, but it also gives us what's called the corrective pocket, right? That's your 1 through 1.382. You can see the values over here, 103,684 to 105,258. I'm long biased until that zone minimum, right? Until we can get there, I'm long biased. Another reason is you have an internal fair value gap left behind, right? From this candle, the long body break-in candle, to the one that comes and tries to backfill but fails, leaving a gap between the wick to wick. Another thing to note here is this might be a weak internal fair value gap, meaning that Bitcoin, what's up, Sensei? It's nice to see so many of you dudes here. Sensei shared with me on Twitter like a really good bearish scenario for Bitcoin of an ABC to the downside. And we're going to talk about that too, because I think that could very well be something that we see on the table. So good call out on that. And let's see if we can get that, right, sir? But I'm stoked to see you here, dude. I hope you're doing well. All right. Oh, man, we have quite a few people. Hello, Dr. T. What's up, Delta? What's up, Addy? BCB was right. I don't know yet if he was right. We'll get into that. I don't know what his scenario was, Sensei, but I'm guessing it was that ABC you showed me, sir. The biggest thing that we have to consider is if we try to figure out that B wave, right? So where BCB where he talked about kind of where that B wave pivot high is, or where you noted it was when you sent me the post. I would like to add some time stuff to that. Yo, what's up, Jamie? Everybody's here, man. This is a hopping party. I just busted into a fresh bag of Brazilian coffee sent to me by Addie, fresh out of the UK. Very excited to try it this morning. This is actually my first sip. Oh, that's delicious. Oh, that's so smooth. Anyhow, sorry guys. The coffee will pull me way off track. Sensei said, got in at 98K. Question is it over? So the downside might be over if we're looking at a broader WXY correction versus that ABC, right? Now, the ABC, sir, could come down sharp and hard, but let's look at kind of our construction of how we were coming down and that correction as to why we might not like it as a B, okay? So I'm going to go to a different chart just so we don't ruin my micro trading, because I actually have I have a Bitcoin long and an XRP long running right now, and I don't want to fuck those charts up. So, all right, I think the best thing we could do at this point is let's start on an 8-hour here and just talk our way through Bitcoin, okay? Because this is the relevant area at this point, is this correction, okay? So if you want, right, like everybody's saying, this to be an A to the downside and this to be a B, yes? And now we're making C right now, right? So you would be assuming at this point, in my opinion, that the C wave would be getting built in an ending diagonal of sorts, right? Now, the thing that you're going to run into, or at least in my opinion, and what the Elliott Wave book says, is that nothing that starts with a leading diagonal will typically end with an ending diagonal, right? So if this was 5 waves down in 1, pull back in 2, 5 waves down in 3, overlaps in 4, right? You can see we're making a leading diagonal here. If this is a leading diagonal, it's highly rare, per the book about Elliott Wave and the fellas who studied it, that this would be an ending diagonal in C, right? The other thing that kind of messes with the probability of this scenario is that if we take a trend-based fib time tool and we measure from the high to the low, right? You don't have to even measure from the high to the low. It can just be the actual linear clicks, right? You could have your first click there and then both your last clicks here. We can see that the high comes in before the 382 fib time, right? Due to that, it is highly unlikely and very low probability that was actually a B wave pivot, right? That's why I took my Bitcoin long this morning and my XRP long this morning, because I'm biased to the upside. And I'll show you why. Number one was because of this, right? So if that's true, now we have to say, well, fuck, that can't be the high of my correction. So where's it going to be now, right? So now you got to find another place for your B to go. That's why I sided with the B in a triangle scenario, because of time. After which you would be looking for a C to the downside, right? If that scenario is true, it's going to get taken out right now, because this would have to be 1, 2 stacking to the downside, right? As soon as you break this local pivot at the mid 103,600, 103,700 range, you're gonna outrun this, right? And you're not going to be making 1, 2 stacking to the downside. And at that point, it will be very likely that this is not a C wave, correct? So if we look at this in another way, would be a possible WXY. So W like we had our A, and an X like we had earlier in a triangle, and now making the Y leg, right? So we posted all this in the Discord. You would be on track if you were there and not missing it. It's really hard to update everything across all these platforms. It takes a lot of time. So let's put the triangle on here really quickly. And all my kids are home for summer break, so the house is like absolutely flooded with people right now. So it might be a little bit loud on the microphone. I apologize. So that would be the E of the triangle of the X. Now, the reason I took my long is because I was looking at this as a possible A wave to the downside and going to make a B wave, right? and then a C wave in the Y in time. If this is true, due to there being a triangle in the X in the way that we formed the W, it is highly likely that the Y leg would be formed in a flat then, right? Due to the rules of alternation within a WXY, we like to see some sort of alternation. So you would look for a high B wave, right? Meaning minimum to make a flat is the 888.9 retracement area. What is up, 6 treble 1? Hope you're having a good day, man. Yeah, we're just going to continue smashing out some Bitcoin TA here. And then we'll move over to altcoins after this. But guys, if you don't mind, just smash up the like button. We got 5 likes so far. The more people we can get to like it or comment or even post some emojis or chat, the more people that will get to be able to see this stream and we can share this work with other people. So then, hey, maybe the more people we can get on the same track, the more people learn, better sustainability we see in the space. Yeah, boy. Sorry, I had to get me a sip of that amazing Brazilian coffee. Yeah, that shit is good. So, an expanded flat is the most common style of flat to be seen in Elliott Wave. Likely, sometimes they'll stop at the 105 fib retrace here. But the most common area of interest is actually going to be the 1.236 through 1.382. That area of interest takes Bitcoin in an expanded B wave flat up to 108,585 to 109,879. Right? So we would need to see a decent reversal off these lows, either in a 3-wave fashion. In a B wave, you're really looking for that 3-wave move, right? You're looking for a common, some sort of zigzaggy move up here, right, to get us up there. We'll know more as the lower time frames continue to progress, but I think this could be your leading probability because of the way these lower time frames are working out, right? So Bitcoin's working very hard on the lower time frames to say, actually, no, guys, I'm not going to give you the 1-2 stacking in the C leg here. I'm not going to just break down sharply to the downside, right? And you can see that here. You can, on a 4-hour, you can really see it. But on an hourly, right, this could very easily be a 3-wave move to the downside, or excuse me, to the A, and then a 3-wave move to the downside in A. And now you're looking for that high B wave and then a final C. So I think overall for right now, stay tuned up on Bitcoin moving to the upside. Like we charted on our lower time frame chart, that internal fair value gap and how that 104,650 range to 105,258 is handled will tell you a lot on the lower time frames. But so far, Bitcoin is trying to get out of the base channel. So that's something to keep in mind. As long as Bitcoin's battling these fibs and Bitcoin's trying to break out of the base channel, things are going well. We will get to JASMY very quickly, my dude. Dave, how are you? I hope you're having a great one. I hope everybody's having a good day. This is our Monday. It's so busy. It's the worst day of the week, but the best day for chart updates, I think. So, does anybody have any questions over Bitcoin or anything you want to chat over it? I personally am not going to side with that super sharp ABC for right now because everybody's on board with shorts. I guarantee that the majority of people are selling out of spot. They're letting fear take the wheel, right? And they're just going to continue to get taken out. But that kind of shit happens, you know. That's why I think it's important for you to have a strategy and some sort of plan going behind what your trading is. This way, you have the convictions and confidence. You have something to fall back on when the hard times come, right? So for now, let's move on with our altcoin party. Does anybody have any altcoins they want to talk about? If so, if you could put them in the chat one at a time. I would like to know your ticker, what time frame you're interested in. Do you own spot in it already? Are you in a leverage trade in it? If so, what's you guys' entries? Are you looking to hold for a long period of time? Is this a short time frame, right? Give me as much detail as possible so then I could potentially give you back a better result from your chart request. Okay? So if we look at the Chat, so far it looks like the only chart request we have in is JASMY. So let's go talk about that for Dave. I hope you're doing well, sir. Let's see if Coinbase will give us what we need for this chart. The micro looks like a decent reversal, would you say? At least to me it does. You get your, we'll switch to the larger time frames here in just a moment. My strategy is horseshoes. Mine too, man. I just like to toss a guess at it, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, it shall be. I think anyone who's traded for more than a couple days understands, you know, that everything in trading is luck. Yes, there are ways that we can mitigate risk. Yes, there are ways that we can, you know, help reduce the impact that our poor trading strategy or risk management might have on us. But overall, man, it's gonna come down to this. So, all right, that's a really good reversal. We'll go back and have to look at this in a moment, but I liked what it's doing so far on the lower time frames for JASMY. Let's go to the daily. Thank you guys for getting all these chart requests. And it looks like after this we have XRP from Sensei. Sensei, is that going to be spot for you, sir? Is that going to be a leverage position? What are you looking to do, right? So as you guys can see on the daily, the move up is quite hopeful, right? This is not the most pretty, impulsive setup standard thing to the upside. And then a very long-winded correction to the downside so far. It will be critical for probability that the 786 is held. And that 786 is a retracement from the low of the structure to the potential high that ended on 5 waves. So if this is a 1 or A, then it really needs to turn around by the 786, right? If it doesn't, the possibility of it continuing the downtrend could be pretty large, right? Which is what you really don't want to see. So as soon as we hit that 888 on JASMY at 0.916, it may be apt to want to continue on the downtrend, okay? So that would be something to look out for. Now, on the daily, let's go back and talk about the issues of it being impulsive or it being a strong reversal, okay? Let's just delete some of this stuff. Let's see if I can get a different chart that might not have as many wicks there. No, they all seem to have it. Okay, so we're just going to have to use it and deal with it. So let's go in a time frame here on the daily down to the 8 hour. And let's look at just this leg to the upside. If you're lucky, maybe this is 1, 2, 1, 2 stacking into a 3, 4, 3, 4, and a final fifth. But let's see, can we make it make sense with the fib extension? So we go from a low to a high to a low. And we need that wave 3 to hit a minimum 1.618 extension. We can see that that does for sure hit a minimum, right? So it's okay. And due to the 1, 2, 1, 2 possible stacking here, I'm going to go ahead and rely on this being maybe 3, 4, 3, 4, and a final fifth. So let's label that up. You can also see that we hit on the nose the 2.236 extension, right? So let's add some labels to this as a potential count. So if it was 1, 2 stacking, this would be your macro 3, 4, and final fifth. Let's get rid of that. You can see as the move moved up, you can see that we made some regular bear divergences and price has continued to hit them as resistance, right? So you form a resistance trend line within your RSI. You hit it again with a 3-wave move up. Was an amazing short, I'm sure of it. The other thing we want to check is how is our volume going into our wave 3 and 5, and was there any sort of divergence when that happened? Jamie, I will work through your chart request, sir, but you have VET, IOTA, AERO, and WIF. So if anybody else puts in another one, I'll have to jump back up to yours, and I've tried to work through them just one at a time for people until we run out of time. Discord members do get the priority right, but everybody else will get their stuff done in time. I'm not in a huge rush. So, all right, let's look at that volume profile as that moved up. The move. So if this was your big wave 3 of wave 3, you have your highest volume in it and your highest oscillation on your RSI. giving the potential that that was your wave 3 of 3, right? Biggest oscillations, biggest volume, biggest everything. That's what she said. That will often cause that FOMO, right? Then we get our choppy leg to end it. Big 3-wave pullback in the 4. The other thing that I like to see a lot of times is going to be a hidden bull divergence, meaning a lower low on the RSI compared to where we saw circle wave 2 up here, right? That's its RSI down here. Then you got circle green 4, that's its RSI. So the RSI made a lower low, but price action didn't. Anytime we can lock in a hidden bull divergence between a 2 and a 4 and confirm it, not only with the 3-wave motion, sir, but with the hidden bull divergence, it kind of gives good probability, okay? So I would say on a daily, I'm not scared of this trade. I think that you do need to start to form some sort of reversal here. But like we already talked about, you're at that 786, right? So probability is on your side that it's still a wave 2 or B. I would not be overly stressed. Now, I would say the next thing I'd want to do is start to see this move leave the local deceleration channel here and start to do something besides a forever downtrend. Yes, so let's go from high to low. You can see that we're forming resistance underneath of the deceleration channel, which is not the best look. So we will want this to start moving sooner than later, okay? The very next thing that I like to do to try to see if a reversal is coming is a fib resistance from a high to a low, right? Oftentimes we'll begin to see interactions with that 0.236. So for me, I think JASMY's looking to hit the underside resistance of this channel again. But with so many resistance touches to it, it's becoming a weaker resistance, excuse my slurring. So we need to break through the 0.236. We need to get back into the deceleration channel and form that pivot that we thought we might have been seeing on the lower time frames, sir. So for now, I would say make this your invalidation point for your spot trades and know that you really, really, really don't want it lost, right? You start losing these lows, then you're really going to risk losing that 786 that we talked about, and you're going to increase the risk of taking the lows. All right, so let's talk about what could happen if the pivot holds, okay? And this is great, guys. We talk about JASMY just about every live stream, so that's good. That means that it has people that are actually invested in the program, people that want to be part of this project, right? So if I were to stay on a daily, the next thing I'd want to do is a base channel. So I would put my parallel channel from a low to a high when we're looking to see, are we creating a reversal in this uptrend, okay? So if it's going to, again, JASMY needs to break the center line. It needs to break the top of the channel and get going. So let's leave these resistances on. But I would say a lot of times, if I was simply trading just retrace fibs, I would say JASMY has strong probability to get back to this golden pocket, internal fair value gap, maybe even the 702. And if it can break that in the 786, high probability it would move up to the 1.236 through 1.382 at 0.025 to 0.028 and get into the next internal fair value gap, okay? At that point, we will know a whole lot more on JASMY. So do rewatch this video anytime you have questions over it, because it's going to be over the daily, right? Like, you guys will be able to look back on this whenever you want. You'll be able to see everything. And please, guys, if you do have questions or anything, just interrupt me. I love making sure we cover everything the best we can. Okay? Let's add some extensions to this in case we hit some roadblocks along the way. And at that point, then you'll know what's going on, okay? So either this move will be a corrective move that marches up the stairs and finds some resistances, or it will be an impulsive move, right? So the line in the sand is going to be our 1.382 extension that we always talk about. And let's go ahead and slap some labels on this. So either these 5 waves up are going to be genuinely a wave 1 into a wave 2 and looking for a wave 3. For JASMY, that would mean you're looking for a minimum 0.4801 and then a slight pullback that likely doesn't come into the base channel. And then a final 5th wave motion to the area of 2.236 located around 0.8657. This is critical that the 786 and invalidation does hold while we look for this, okay? If price action gives you the angle of the dangle and this thing starts to just go, right, at some point and it breaks the base channel, it's highly likely it's a 3 and not a C, okay? Just something to keep in mind. Now, if it is just a wave C, it is just going to give 5 waves to the upside. And by just, I mean it will still be incredible. And likely it won't leave the base channel, but maybe it gives you a peek out, right? But in that scenario, you're going to get tangled up in those corrective extensions that we talk about all the time. If those 5 waves up and this motive wave or push to the upside was only an A wave, and this was only a B wave to the downside, you would only get a C wave that goes to 1 through 1.382, taking price from 0.026 to 0.038. Okay? And after that, we would likely look for the same divergences here, right? We would likely look for the same divergence or hidden bull divergence between the 4 and the 2. Because your 2 is so damn deep and steep and scary, it's likely the 4 will correct sideways, right? So we'll get some alternation there for some sort of opportunity. So I hope it's helpful, sir. You're hilarious. Papa Surf. I'm serious. It makes me think of Papa Smurf every time. Just an old-ass blue Smurf rolling around, putting fibs on everything. All right, let's keep the party going. Man, that coffee is good today. It was hard, though, you guys. I don't know about you, but when you get a new bag of coffee and you're adjusting your grind for the espresso machine, it's too fine. Boom, now espresso's not coming out good. It's too coarse, now it's just pacing through. Or you're drinking burnt-ass coffee, and I'm not about that life. All right, let's keep the party going. What was our next one here? Let me scroll up and find it. I don't have anybody here to help me but myself today. All right, BCB, bop, bop, bop. Nice. We did JASMY. It looks like the next one is XRP. Okay, let's do XRP. I'm just going to write these down while I'm here. And then you got SUY for 6 treble. On the macro, you got it. I'm writing it down so I don't miss you. And then we'll get Jamie with VET. All right, so let's do XRP first. You still here, Sensei? Hope you are, sir. All right, let's work through XRP. Hell no, you can't beat good coffee. All right, so first and foremost, I think we need to talk about our macro for XRP and what we think could be going on here, okay? Because I think it lets us kind of understand what we got going forward. So I think you had 5 waves in a wave 1, a long-winded correction in your wave 2, and then a strong push in your wave 3. And this was your wave 4 and a WXY. I think that you could be forming an ending diagonal in your wave 5 to the upside. What's up? Thanks for letting me know, Sensei. I always love to know that you guys are still here, so I'm not talking to the damn wall. So in an ending diagonal, we look for everything to kind of be made in a 3-wave fashion. So 3 waves up in 1, 3 waves down in 2, 3 waves up in 3 at some point, right? Usually that 3 might be about the same size as your 1 or even a hair bigger. And then we'll typically get 3-wave pullback in 4 that typically, doesn't have to, but typically will overlap into the tops of 1. And then you'll get a final 5th wave in 3 waves that likely is not larger than your wave 3. This will cause this to be a contracting ending diagonal. And there is a possibility that XRP doesn't break the $4, right? There is a strong possibility that everybody gets mad FOMO and is buying the tops here. But XRP doesn't break 370. Everybody's going to say, what the hell is going on? We missed minimum targets. Didn't go where it should have. But right, that will occur because it ran into the 382. Now the old style of trading I would typically rely on would be a fib retrace from high to low. And we would look for our new style expanded B retracement fibs. And that would be the 1.236 to 1.382 in case XRP is to break out. But I would be watching the 350 to 370 range very closely. Unless this does some crazy shit and just stands on its tail and smashes off to 370, then I can't really count anything but an ending diagonal, right? So it would be very fitting for it to happen. It would grind it to the upside. Everybody would be claiming that it's just the 5 waves in the wave 1 of the wave 5 and that we're going to go to fucking $20 and all these extravagant prices, but it just simply won't happen. And again, everybody will get screwed. It'll leave you a lot of bag holders. It will leave you the opportunity for a lot of them to sell as price comes back down. So just keep that in mind. All right. Do you have any questions over that, Sensei? That's kind of like your macro plan thing to be watching out for. The reason I took a long on XRP this morning was because of the lower time frame. So I'll show you that on the 15-minute. When we came down to the 1.618 of a possible 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 5 waves down, I took a long this morning on XRP in hopes that we were getting some sort of A, B, maybe C reversal, right? If we're lucky, maybe we get more. But it doesn't mean it has to happen. Oh, nice. It's nice to see that some very popular people maybe are onto the same track as me. I've never heard of Vivian or Chart Historian before. I'll have to give it a Google. I'm going to write that down, dude. Thanks for sharing. Vivian and Chart Historian. Is this people have YouTubes? Historian. I'll have to go check it out and see what they got. Are they also Elliott Wave people or no? I love that there's so many forms of technical analysis out there, or forms of, you know, like just all the different ways to do it. I think it's amazing. It's kind of like skateboarding or surfing or snowboarding in a way. Everybody's going to do it all so different. You don't like those targets. I don't like those targets either, dude. I like the $20 target much more. How about you? Maybe even 27 would be good. Yeah, everybody, that's one of the things you'll note too, is you'll notice that people will constantly kind of, as things come up, they'll go from kind of bullish to Vivian's under another name. Okay, I'll try to find it. Another thing that we'll often notice, one second. Hello. My wife was handing me her phone so I can finish what I'm doing here. I'm trying to set up the YouTube so I can see you guys' comments on a mobile while doing this, because I'm running into some issues here while trying to do it both. It's throwing me off. Give me just 1 second to get this set up so I can see what's going on. All right, here we go. All right. Now I've got it all set up. All right. So now I can see everything we're doing all at once. Chart Historian uses price structure and fractals. Nice, dude. I really think fractals are fun. There's a guy I know, Happy Building Block, as some of you may know him. He loves the fractals, man. I get tons of fractals from him. And as they say, right, it's like history often repeats itself, right? So you'd be a fool for not looking at it. So that I will definitely go check out their stuff and give it a consideration, see what's up. All right, so we did Bitcoin, XRP. Let's get into SUI really quickly. You'd be happy with $9. I wish I could give us that one. I feel like, you know, the next target, if you can break that 0.618, sir, is 620. So maybe that's the next area of interest you should be looking to. But I would say a bigger thing to pay attention to is the confluence of these retrace fibs also. Because if you turn on the new style, you'll see just how amazing those reactions have been so far, right? Rejection at a golden pocket, fallback support 236. The next time it attacks this golden pocket, it is likely it's going to get through, right? So if it gets through there, dude, you're smashing, right? You're going. It's going to do great things. So it's like we have to be keyed up. We have to pay attention to how this ascent is going on. And that's why I tell people all the time, dude, we're going to cover this every single day, right? We're going to be here. I do live streams for the community 3 days a week minimum. And we do one educational live stream on Thursdays so that all of these concepts and strategies and stuff can be something that you can use. So let me know if you have any other questions, man. All right, let's keep going. Let's move over to SUI really quickly. So I'm a fan of SUI. As you folks in the community know, this was our buy box, and I followed through on my promise. I don't know about anybody else, but my bag is getting too heavy. I'm ready for this to be over. So SUI is going to be no different than the other coins that we had looked at, right? We can see here a very strong displacement, actually looking like a decent wave 3, right? And after which we would look for this pullback that we've already had to the golden pocket, to the 1 through 1.382, which was the buying zone that we were going after. Let's get this off our screen. We don't need the golden pocket anymore. Same thing that we talked about earlier. It's either a 1 or an A, right? But with SUI, due to larger degree counts, it might become more than this. It might become more than an ABC. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I always think it's kind of like a funny Elliott Wave joke. We'll have to wait and see. Some people will never get it. But, so if we place a base channel on this as our pivot, and I also think it's really critical to understand that probability shift point of the 786 on this one, just like the other chart that we talked, right? The 786 is going to be that line in the sand where things really get handed over to the bears. So you start seeing SUI coming down to $2.08 and losing it, sir. It's very likely to take the lows and invalidate the scenario, okay? Sorry, I need another sip of coffee. So for now, I would say SUI is fully on the right path of doing this. And let's get an extension from low to high to low so we can see where our gateway drug is, right? So we got a gateway drug coming in around this center line area. That's around $4. I would likely say you're going to find some sort of resistance before then. Let's check out our new style 236, how we're interacting. That comes at 265, right? We start interacting with that 265 level, and it's highly probable that you'll move up to the golden pocket at 337 and 356. So you really, really want to see this thing kind of march up these stairs, right? You want to get a little golden pocket action. We want to fall back to support, form it on that 265 at the 236 area. Excuse me, guys. And then move up here into this range, maybe catch another resistance, another pullback, and another high. At least that way then, you know, you could tell yourself, well, fuck it. It was just an ABC, and I was wrong. I didn't break 1 through 1.382 extensions, and I rejected, or I didn't get out of a base channel, right? Until you get a move with displacement that finds itself out of a base channel and hits that top, meaning it hits $10.18 at the 1.618. Sorry for the log trucks going by, guys. Then that means that it's likely not an impulse, right? So that likely then wouldn't be a 2, 3, a 4, and a 5. Right? So we would still have a lot of roadmap ahead of us here. But I do think that holding on to those SUI coins for right now, until we can see what kind of reversal we do or don't have going on, is really going to tell us a lot. Okay? All right. Do you have any questions over SUI from anybody? All right. So far, we've done Bitcoin, XRP, SUI. Let's move into VeChain really quickly. And if you guys have any other charts or questions over how to place the extensions or anything like that, please let me know and we'll go back to them. All right, so VeChain. This is, SUI looks way better than this. This does not look super good. Again, I don't think this is what's going on, and I'll tell you why really quickly. Because if you have, this was something we were talking over in the education in the community, is if you have a wave 4 that's bigger, meaning it moves larger than your wave 2 does, it makes it an expanding pattern. It's highly unlikely that this is an expanding, ending diagonal to the downside, right? So the best case scenario I think you're looking at for V-Chain is just an ABC to the upside. Because again, here you can see this motion to the upside with overlap and expansion in 4, making it highly unlikely that it was an expanding leading diagonal, right? So I'm going to say this is a correction up only in an A wave due to it retracing deeply to the 0.9 area. I would say this is just a B wave if you're lucky, right? So what I would be doing with my V-Chain bags, if I owned them in spot, would be from low to high. And we talked about it earlier, guys. I'm not a fan of V-Chain because of Donald Trump. He's likely not going to be the most friendly person about Chinese cryptocurrencies, right? And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, this is part of funding possibly the CCP. So it's not something I would be into, right? Correct me if I'm misspeaking. Please do put in the comments or shoot my ear off later, but I don't see the point of it. Yeah? What's up? Nameless Monster. Nice to see you here. Hype. Do you know, sir, can that be found on TradingView, or is Hype better found on a DEX screener? And if so, do you have a contract address for it? Yeah, dude, just anytime, even lately, Addy, that's a good point. Anytime lately I've thought something was a diagonal, I've often rethought my process and told myself, well, they're highly unlikely and low probability. Maybe I should consider a correction first, right? And usually that's paid off in the long run. So for me, I think this was just a corrective A to the upside, a long-winded choppy B, and now it's looking to move up, right? So I would be looking for ways to de-risk my V-Chain. Now, if V-Chain is to prove you wrong, it will break out of the base channel and crack out the 1 through 1.382 we keep consistently talking about and move to the 1.618. But until this happens, I think V-Chain is in very hot water. Oh, cool. Thanks, Nameless. Can you get me the contract address, please? So for me, is if things continue on this way, right, it's just a correction for me to de-risk V-Chain, you know? So, and thank you guys for being so helpful in the chats, man, letting me know like what coins you want to see, where I can find them. It's really helpful. So if you get a contract address for that Hype, it'll make it easier for me to find, but even if you can't, I'll still work to find it for you, sir. All right, so we did V-Chain. Let's run through one more off the long list that somebody put up for us and broke the rules, but that's okay. Let's go look at IOTA first, and then we will do Hype after that. All right, so like many of the charts we've looked at, let's delete everything and just talk really quickly so you can kind of see my thought process here. SEI and CRV, sir. Yeah, you got it, dude. Thank you, Dr. T, for sticking around today and asking so many charts. It's really fun. All right, so we can see what, guys? Again, a motion to the upside with displacement that has a possible 5-wave motion within it. Okay? Because of that, I have to side with that being a wave 3 and wave 5. Okay? And we'll label this up really quickly so we can see it. And I know, again, guys, like we keep talking about it, if you could share this stream with your friends and stuff. We have quite a few people here watching. Looks like we have 9 people here currently. So it's been pretty fun. Let's see if we get some more people in on the party and get some more people seeing this fun stuff. Maybe we can all catch the reversal together. So like many of the coins we looked at earlier, IOTA needed to do what? It needed to hold that 786 area, 888. We do not want to see it happen. Now, here's where the ugly part of IOTA is hiding, right? So far overall, let's look at this whole weekly chart. So far overall, this has not been anything but a range, right? You can see we're just trapped in this idiot box, bouncing up and down, right? So it's like we're not getting the highest conviction plays from this. You know what I mean? So if we zoom back in, we need to keep that in mind. And we need to tell ourselves, all this could be is a correction to the upside, right? So if it's going to be, let's use the same rules we've been using, going from low to high. right? If that's true, then we need to see a reversal point here, right? After you hit this 10 cents. Now, if IOTA wants these 5 waves to be something, we really need IOTA's low time frame reversals to start coming out of here. I also own this one in spot and have been buying it up as we came down into the area of support. It hasn't been fun to hold, so I'm either looking to de-risk into a movement that's just a corrective motion up, or I'm looking to de-risk into an impulse. Either way, what I'm going to be watching for is, does this 5 waves in either an A or a 1 get a partner leg in a C or a 3? And like we talked about earlier, we don't know that until we start to see extensions to the upside, right? Meaning A, to begin this whole damn thing, it needs to snap center line. It needs to break out of a base channel. It needs to hit 1.618, fall back, make a wave 4 to validate, and then a final 5th to show us that this move has some kind of balls about it, right? So let's pull an extension from low to high to low. You can see simply that C could get tangled up here at the 1-to-1, just like we talked about on B-Chain. And that comes in for IOTA at 0.2939. Until IOTA can break the 39 cent level, it should be considered nothing but an ABC. We're really looking for IOTA to move up to validate a wave 3 to 46 cents, sir. And after which you would like a shallow retracement that doesn't come back in a base channel and then pushes for a final 5th to 73 cents. Okay? If you have any other questions over IOTA, let me know. All right, now let's go look at hype on the deck screener for your guy Nameless. Are you still here, my friend? Makes it a lot easier to know that I'm talking to someone that's actually still here. All right, let's go get our deck screener. And you say it's called hype. Let's see if I've looked it up recently. People ask for all these crazy ass coins now. Usually I can find them in my history. Looks like this is, oh, here she is. Hyper, would this be it, sir? If you could let me know before we start getting on. I can't tell if that emoji's a middle finger or a thumbs up. Either way, I like it. All right, just let me know if I start doing the wrong chart. But I would say so far, I think this is the chart you are after. Let's look at it on linear also. Man, this is a bad chart. Let me know if you guys, are you having internet issues or anything? Let me go check. No, that's not it. Okay, we'll try to type it again. If you could send me the contract address, it would be very hypeful. Sorry, guys, I've been sick for a week. I haven't coughed like that in a little bit. Hype. Okay. If you send me a contract address, I might be able to find it better. Let me look and see. You said it's called Hyper Liquid. Let's see if I can find it, sir. I've got Hyperion, Hyper Liquidated. I've got Hyper Liquid. Where the hell did it go? What's up, Dineske? Top one, sir, is the one you want. Okay. Let me know when I get to it if this is it. I do have 4 kids on internet and a wife, so our internet might be lagging, and I apologize if so. I'm going to stick with the chart on log for now. And let's go take a peek at the daily. I'm getting a little bit of lag, so I apologize, everybody. All right, just give me a second here. Yeah, dude, I actually love surfing and skating, bro. Did you know yesterday was National Go Skate Day? I skateboarded from 9 in the morning till about 5 at night. I can barely walk today. My thighs are on fire, dude. Like when I sit down, to go to the bathroom, it hurts so much, dude. Like, it hurts so much. So my cheeks are sore, my legs are sore. I love surfing, I love skateboarding. I really love snowboarding. A lot. But yeah, dude, I would say it helps me kind of like take off the weight of all of this, right? Because this trading shit is very stressful, yeah? So it's like, bad time to have body hurting. Nah, I like it. It's good. The pain lets you know you're alive. It's that weakness getting out of our bodies, letting us know we're still alive. You're okay. Yeah, I love it, dude. But anyhow, let me get back to it. I could talk skateboarding all day. Do any of you guys surf or skateboard or snowboard or ski or do any kind of sports like that? While we're waiting to see if any of you are into anything, let's see. Oh, yeah, dude. This is like a sore after the gym, except I got to do like something I really, really love. I don't mind working out, but I like skateboarding so much more. All right, so this is the way I would have to trade this chart, and the reason why is because of the poor amount of data, making it hard to really do a whole lot of Elliott waving with this one, okay? So, but what we can see here is a nice 3-wave pullback, right? And then it starts chopping its way up. Now, in this chop, we're lacking displacement, right? Oh, dude, scuba diving. Oh, we got the Roar people in the room. Nice. Go tell everybody we're live, dude. Let everybody know we're live, and I'll cover Roar, Leash, and Bone for you guys if you guys pile in the chat and fire it up for me. So this is the way that I used to trade, right? So I'd put an retrace fib from the high to the low, sir. So nameless, that's what I would do first. I would take a retracement fib, I'd place it from the high to the low, and just like we talked about before, we like to see us get an interaction at the point 236 like we did, and then get through it. You can see we come up to the golden pocket, find it as resistance, and then we push right on through like butter. Get to the 786, chop, 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 push right through it again, right? Now you're getting into those expanded B retracements that we talked about, right? The most common area of interest for an expanded B retracement or any expanded correction is going to be the 1.236 through 1.382. So I think this is your target box. With charts like this, right, I cannot predict FOMO. I cannot predict community. I cannot predict crazy shit that happens in memes, right? So what I do is I do my best to mitigate my risk, and I tell myself wherever I'm in on this, I don't want to see it lose this channel, right? This starts to lose the channel or this acceleration to the upside, and that's no good, right? So as soon as that happens, you know worse things are coming. And that's not what we want, yeah? So what we really want to see is that this thing starts to, excuse me, let me get a sip of drink here. What we really want to see is that this picks up the momentum to the upside and smashes up into that box, yeah? So if it can get up there and it can find its way into the 1.236 through 1.382, I would look for more there. Now, the next thing I would look at is my RSI and my volume. I need to know, am I forming RSI divergences, and is my volume supporting the move? All right, so my RSI is showing me what right now, guys? Many people I'm sure know this. But the very first thing we should notice is what? So from here on the chart, you made higher closures on price action, but lower closures on RSI, right? By closures, we're referring to the flat spot of the candle, not the wicks. Because your RSI is actually calculated off of the closures, not the wicks. All right, so again, you can see higher RSI, lower RSI. Higher price action closures, right? It makes higher price action closures, but the RSI does not. This is a double regular bear divergence. So right now, this coin is fighting a divergence. Now, if you are lucky, the next thing I would like to point out is the reset that it's giving you. The hidden bull reset that it's trying to give your RSI. We'll look at that in a second. But the hidden bull is coming in because you can see these price action closures. And then we look way back here on the RSI. Man, you're not that low yet, right? But we're low as all of these last ones. So in an uptrend, price action makes a higher closure, but a lower RSI. That gives a hidden bull reset. When that happens, that's how these coins can just happen to give you that next little pump no one expects. You know, that's how this could get into the 1.236 at 48 to the 1.382 at 58. That's how you can get that last push. But what you're going to need is a hidden divergence to play out, push right up into this box. And to be honest with you, I probably would start de-risking because I think you're going to make further regular bearish divergences, meaning you'll receive higher closures on price action, but your RSI won't be able to do it, right? And you'll form another bear divergence. So I would say for now, be watching that area of interest, okay? Yeah, Crypto Viking, let me know. I'm excited. It would be cool to see the Roar community show up, dude. Hit it up, hit your people up, rattle the cages, see if we can get them kitty cats meowing. It's a fun meme coin if it could get going. If GameStop could hold good on its pattern, you have a chance there. Nameless, I don't know if you're still here, Nameless Monster, but that's my opinions over hype. Let me know if you have any questions, sir. Or any comments or any thoughts, right? I don't know a lot about the community. So if there's stuff that you know about the community that could be big for us to know, things that you know that could possibly be reasons why this chart should fly up a lot more, just let me know. All right, so the next for now will be AERO. And then it looks like whiff after that. Both for Jamie. So if you are still here, Jamie, if you could hit me with a thumbs up or let me know you're still here. Let me know, guys, if the stream's lagging or if you guys can see everything okay on your end. I've noticed that typically happens when we go to the deck screener, right? So when I switch back and forth between deck screener and the trading view, a lot of time it will give us issues. Just trading quick in and outs. Then Nameless, what I would look for is that hidden divergence to give you that next move to the upside, sir. Okay? So I think that you could possibly get that next payout. Just remember, these are smash and dashes. Yeah, you're just trying to get in. No love. No love at all for the project. Just get in there, make your money, and get out. Let those divergences guide you. Cool. Stream's good. No lag. Let's keep riding, guys. Where I am going when you were on the live, brother. I hope not, man. I love chatting with you guys, honestly. It gets me hyped. I love being part of the community of crypto. Honestly, I think it's one of my most fun parts, right? Being able to talk with a bunch of people that are in such a niche thing as this is, I think, empowering, right? Because you go out in the normal world, man, nobody gives a shit about your crypto. Nobody wants to hear about your crypto. But here, it's like your family. It's like the Olive Garden. Somebody's always got your back, you know? That's what I love about crypto. All right, let's go do AERO. So we had some wiki action going on in this motion to the upside. And what I am working through right now on AERO is the possibility. Let me get a different chart. I think the other one had less wicks for us. That was not it. Put a stick here. There it is. All right, so you can see from this macro AERO chart that this may have been the first wave of something, right? So I do think in time bigger payouts are going to come for this project. But you know, I don't want to give you this like, oh my God, it's going to do the same growth, 3,000 again, it's going to happen, right? I don't want to hype beast you into this because then people make what I think would be really irrational, irresponsible investing choices. Yes? So let's delete everything so we could just talk here. What I want to stay focused on for now is just this first leg to the upside, which gave 183% return on people's investment. Right? So we're looking for that dude's partner leg, okay? We're looking to dance with that guy. So even though this kind of goes against the grain for me, and I'll show you why here in a second, I like this as my highest probability count on AERO. Because it's a reversal, it could be a weak first wave to the upside, right? And we'll talk about other options too, but they also result in upside. The 1.382 was just merely hit for a wave 3. We typically like to see the 1.618 hit because that gives us the possibility of it being a displacing or impulsive wave 3, right? Man, guys, I've been hitting this for an hour. We are killing it. So if that's 5 waves up in a 1 or even a C, or an A, excuse me, we're still looking for more, right? So that could be 5 waves in 1. You could have seen your pullback in a 2, or that was just 5 waves in A, like we talked about earlier, and you have your retrace in B. Let me turn off this handy dandy magnet. And now we're moving off in a C, right? So if these are our options, let's go ahead and look at this next leg here, right? So I think it's going to be hypercritical at this point that we put on a base channel from 1 to 2 or A to B, and we see how the move up is working. Now, in our community, we have taken numerous longs and shorts on AERO. We have people printing money like mad, right? I don't go show off the stupid ass screenshots. I discourage the people in our community from doing it. No one gives a shit if you made 300%, 40%, or lost 20. We care about your strategies. Why did you take the trade? What are you going to do moving forward? And what can we learn from the setup? Not, this is how big my trade is. You get the joke. So for me, there's no reason to brag and boast, but this has supplied a lot of volatility, as you can see. And given the potential that this could be some sort of leading diagonal to the upside, due to all the overlap, I can't really find another way that I would like to count it, right? So for me, I think that you could have seen 5 waves to the upside in a leading diagonal. Due to what the Elliott Wave book says, this could potentially be an A, give a B, and then a C, and it comes back down here to the lows of the channel. Now, Elliott Wave book itself says that the 786 after a leading diagonal is the most high probability scenario or support to be found. That could take AERO back to 0.55229. We don't want that, right? Or at least I don't. I want to buy, but I don't want to buy that cheap. So I'm looking at the 702, and that comes in around 0.58625. If AERO can hold this area, it could continue onward. When we look to the left, guys, follow with me here. We learned about internal fair value gaps and what comprises them earlier in the stream, right? They're comprised of 3 candles. The first one being this little hideous snub nose inverted candle. Then a long displacing, we got the magnet on, so it's messing with us. Then a long displacement candle that back checks with barely any wick, right? The next one comes back and eat up a little bit of the fair value gap. So let's put that fair value gap on, or the liquidity left behind, so that you guys can see why, as a magnet, price action could come back to the 702. That also gives us confluence of the bottom of the base channel that we applied earlier, right? So right now you see a very ugly inverse head and shoulders, some noobs might be calling, but all it might give you is a reaction at center line or get over center line and reject again. If it's lucky, it could give a higher B wave, right? But for now, don't be fixated on that. Don't tell yourself, oh, I fucked up and it's gonna pump again and I'm gonna get the higher B wave. It doesn't always have to happen, right? So you could get a flat after a diagonal that could get it all the way up into here, could make the expansion and then get a C. Maybe that's why you don't get a deep correction and you only come back like this. Now, regardless of what happens, the most common correction will be to take the lows of A, right? So let's look at something. If this moved to the upside, like we talked earlier on Bitcoin, if we get a move in a correction and the correction happens before the 382 in time, it's likely not the end of the correction, right? Theo Paul, what's up, my dude? What charts are you after, my guy? It's nice to see you here. People just coming in saying hi. I love it, dude. So motivating. I could do charts all day knowing you guys are here watching. All right. Let me plug in my mobile here. Of course, on the day I need it, I don't have a charger in my office. All right. I'm going to be just walking off to grab a charger really quick. Just give me 1 second. It'll be just silent for 1 moment here. Maybe less than a minute. Look at that. We already got it. We're back. Everything always the devices, man. It's like you can't get far from a charging source or you're going to lose it all. All right. So we're charging. So what you're looking for here on AERO might only be a corrective motion to the upside. So if you forgot to sell the tops, great. Maybe you de-risk if we don't get impulsive and we're just making a three-wave motion to the upside. But I would say your first area of interest to be looking for is that golden pocket area at the 0.85 to the 786 at the 0.90 level. Okay? If AERO is to run into resistance there, then I still think you get this deep, scary C wave to shake off all the flies before the big wave to the upside. Now, when we zoom out back to what we were talking, that would mean this is just a leading diagonal in the wave 1, right? So that would mean the next wave that this would go into would be an absolute insane impulse or a wave 3, right? Wave 3 of wave 3, meaning it's going to be very, very strong, likely to break 228 and head to the 350 to 465 range. Now, I'm not trying to give you guys FOMO. I'm not at all. I'm just trying to be very open about how this could go. So look for those minimum targets. But I do think the next thing that's on the table after this correction for AERO is a very, very strong move. Okay? So if we look at the area of interest and let's say we don't get the deep correction even. Let's say we just get the 0.5. Minimum wave 3 target gives us a 237% gain to 420% as a wave 5, right? And then you've got to step back, guys, so you can see where you're at on the road here. This is wave 1 into a wave 2. Wave 1 into a wave 2, right? This is wave 1 of the wave 3. This thing is going to absolute send when it breaks out of this base channel. It's going to go crazy, right? So again, you need to look at your macro targets for this move. So if we go 0 to the high of a 1 to the low of a 2, its minimum target is the 1.618 at 262. You can see how all these minimums start lining up for that mid 2 range. So if you're here and you're holding at 80 cents, who gives a shit, right? You're a spot holder. I'm holding at 80 cents to look for a 3x on my money. Fuck it, right? I'll look away for a couple of days. Maybe I have some hard times, but in the end, I'm going to end up to the upside, right? Your spot trader looks for setups like this. That's your dads, your moms, your people with careers, all your people who are looking to just hold for a week, hold for more than a week, right? This is your kind of setup. This is your bread and butter. All right. So that's AERO. Let me know if you have any questions over it. I love talking charts again, and I would love to discuss it any day you want to. But I'm very open to this being an extended move to the upside. So, but maybe I'm biased because I'm already in the project, right? So everybody gets a little biased when they're a consumer, right? No one thinks their shit stinks. So, all right, let's see what our next chart is. That was AERO. All right, looks like the next chart for Jamie, if you're still here, sir, is going to be WIF. All right. And if anybody else has any charts, please do get them in. Please just pop your chart request into the chat. As always, liking the stream, chatting with the stream, engaging, even trying to share it on your Twitter. You know that we are live and we're going to be here for at least another hour. Please do let your friends know, man. I would love to talk any charts they got. Anything from the high caps to the low caps and everything in between, right? We traded gold in the community. We made absolutely astonishing gains on it. We're still doing well on that. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know, dude. I love it. I think it's amazing. So let's go to the next chart and then we'll go from there. Let me see here. We're looking for whiff. Do, 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 do. So whiff is doing everything in its power to front run my buy box. I think it's funny. So this where I wanted to buy on whiff. I haven't bought any. Just sitting on my hands. Let's get 786. Oh yeah, look at that 786 as always. That's what I wish I would have had on my chart, guys. I would have bought there. But anyhow, fell short of my buy box for now. So I'm not going to make my purchase on whiff. And I'm just going to continue to watch what's going on here. But my hopes in time, excuse me, is that whiff will start to form a reversal and start to move off of the lows. Excuse me. I had to blow my nose. And we're looking at this as a potential A. And maybe your B wave's not over, right? Maybe this is just the first wave down in B. You make 3 up and then come down again. You get into the fair value gap left behind. Maybe that's what's on the table still, but we'll have to watch these lower time frames. For now, if whiff is able to pull off a pivot here, let's move our target. We'll just adjust our targets to what we see as it goes. If it is able to bust off and start making some moves to the upside, I would just place my base channel as is now from low to high. Let's also look to make sure we made a minimum timing correction from low to high. Our low is in after the 382 in time. What I don't like about it is it looks like 3 down, 3 up, and the potential to have 3 down again. This stopping at a 786 is very rare. So I'm not fully convinced yet the reversal is in or the low is in. But if it were to be, we would be looking to 291 to 512 as our next area of interest on whiff, right? So it has amazing targets. And anyone who doubts it, all you have to do is measure the previous range, and you see very quickly that whiff made a 360% move, right? So call bullshit all you want, but it's done it in the past, and it's likely able to do it again, right? So I would say stay kind of positive for this one, and let's see if it's able to form a reversal. Does that make sense? And if it's able to form a reversal and make those lower time frames kind of start to show out for us, then we'll be okay, right? But for now, I would say just keep watching it and maybe even try to focus on its lower time frames, right? So let's go see how could we take a long on this, right? Like how could I convince myself it's over? Let's delete everything so we can see better. What I would do is a channel on this as a deceleration from a high to a pivot or a connector to a low. And I really want to see this do 2 things for me. First one is, let me highlight our forms of connection so you can see. So first, second, and third point of connection. After which, what do we see? Center line reaction, center line reaction, center line reactions, center line reactions, center line reactions, right? If we can form an impulsive pivot off the low, guys, which you might be seeing right now for whomever is watching, you could easily give yourself a play here, right? Easy, right? If I was a leverage person, this is what I would be looking for. It's what I looked for on XRP and Bitcoin. This is fucking no different of a setup. Man, if I'd have known this, I'd have longed WIF. All right. So you will have your invalidation point. You guys already know the macro target, so there's no reason to beat a dead horse. That's our invalidation, right? You're looking at what? What's WIF going to do from here, right? Is this going to be able to give me an ABC to the upside, or is it going to give me an expanded pattern, or excuse me, I'm doing so many things in my mind at one time, or is it going to give me an impulse to the upside by breaking these corrective extensions, which you can see we're working with very well, right, guys? We're building support off of a 786 and building support on top of it. We built support as a tail bar, pin bar candle off of a center line area of interest, and we're marching forward. These are all great things, right? So now if WIF is to get jiggy with it and give an impulse, this is going to give you a really amazing next entry, right? Because then you could apply some leverage. We could get into some action here. So what you're looking for on WIF is validation to get to a 1.618, pull back and hold and finish. When we look to the left, what do we see, guys? This has been a common theme in our trading today, right? We see what? Internal fair value gap left behind. That internal fair value gap's made of 3 candles, gray, gray, blue. Blue left behind all of this money, right? So these blue dudes are going to go like a magnet, march their way there and try to get it. These 3 candles were not unidirectional closing. By that I mean we have down closure, up closure. Gray, gray, blue. Not all gray and not all blue. Somebody at the club don't fit in, right? That makes that a weak internal fair value gap. It's not going to be as strong as you think. So let's see. Can we get to 80 cents on WIF? Can we form acceptance in that fair value gap? Maybe give a range sideways in a 4. Reset the RSI with hidden bull divergence, right? And then take off in a 5th and give us an amazing opportunity to retrace later. Does that make sense? Let me know if you're still here with me, Jamie, but that's my views on WIF. The macro still looks bullish, though it might give a temporary pullback here in between. So that's something to be open to also, right? So it may or may not work. We'll just have to wait and see how that local is stacking up. Does that make sense? Man, thank you all for being here, dude. There's 11 people watching right now. All together, I'm stoked. Thank you for being here. We also got a 14 thumbs up. Thank you guys for taking your time to even do that, right? I know your time's precious. All right, so let's go do Crypto Viking. Are you still here, sir? If Crypto Viking is still here, I don't know if they wanted us to cover Roar or if any of their community showed up, but I would hate to cover a chart with nobody here that wants to hear about it or cares. So let me know. Until I hear from you, sir, I'm going to move on and take a look at Ethereum for Addy. If anybody else has any altcoins. Oh, Crypto Viking, you are here, dude. All right, cool. Thank you for letting me know. Whew, the party's still hot, boys. We're still on. All right, so it might lag on me because I'm going to have to move over. You want me to look at Bone instead? I'm going to have to move over to a deck screener. So sometimes when I do that, we do get a little bit of a lag. Do you have your contract address for Bone, sir? I think it's a hilarious name. How's it not going to do something amazing, right? All right. I don't know which Bone it would be, so I'm guessing it's the Bone on Shiba swap. It looks like the project's 2 years and 2 months old. Let me know if this is the correct one for you, sir. Mother of downtrends. All right, all right. It's on a downtrend, so the Bone community would like to hear about it. Dude, I love hooking you dudes up. I've never seen people be... tell your whole community, man. Tell the whole Bone community. We're live right now. I'll cover any of their coins they want to talk about, right? All right. Let's look at our RSI, because that'll be super important. I'm still waiting to hear if this is the right chart from you, sir. So you let me know. But for right now, I'll just keep working with what I got till I hear from you. So let's get some basic extensions on here for now. It's nice that we never hit the 1.618 and we're starting to kind of pack in on itself there, right? We can see that that gives us hope that this is corrective. Let's leave the 1618 just in case for now. That's what we need is music on the streams, man. How do we not got like some smooth jams rolling? It's so quiet in here. We need like background music. YouTube needs to make that an option. So we can have something good. Let me turn on some jams for myself here. We'll roll some Beastie Boys. I don't know about you guys, but I always feel like a little brass monkey gets the party going. All right. Alright, so in my opinion, if this downtrend is to be wanting to come to an end soon, you would have to be talking about this being some sort of diagonal, right, to the downside. They are rare, but they do happen. The issue is going to happen because you have 5 to the downside in a 3-wave retrace, and then it's just chop city, chop city, chop city, chop city. That's not a clear, concise move, right? It's not something that we could for sure say, you know, this is 1, 2, and that was 3, and it was just really choppy because of that. I would say its full likelihood is to continue the downtrend. If I were to be just trying to find an area of interest on this, unfortunately, I don't think it comes until the 0.1953 area. And if that's lost, I would say you're going to move on down to the 0.1380 area. To try to get a better handle on this, I would add some basic retrace fibs to it. And I would go from this last low to the next high. And as soon as this starts to break down, which it already has, right, sir? You can see it. See this pin bar resistance building off the 888? Yeah? Gives full likelihood that it's going to move into the next area of interest based upon retrace fibs alone. And that is 0.1794 to 0.1631. And that's your 1.236 to 1.382 of the range taken from from low to high, right? Since this was in a downtrend, as soon as bone hit the 888, it was full likelihood was to sweep the lows and move to the next area of interest, sir. So I would say mother of downtrends. Yeah, dude. That hit like that one shocked me too. So what I would be really trying to focus on here is anything positive, right? One positive thing that we're seeing is what? Look at your overall sellers. What would you say they're doing? Your sellers are losing interest. Any move up to the upside, though, your buyers gained interest. So there's still interest in this project, just judging off the volume. It would be nice to see, you know, a little bit more money come in. I'm new to reading all of this low cap stuff, but it looks like the market cap is only $98,000. And the liquidity in the game right now is only $18,000. With low numbers like this, unless it forms a really strong reversal, a lot of times these things can be kind of damning, meaning that the community's just not kind of supporting it anymore. Or whomever was in charge of the project may not be supporting it anymore like they used to, right? So to see this get some life, we want to see the buy volume come back in, and we want to see a reversal. So by that I mean, I would look for price to continue the move down into the area of interest. Then I want to see a sharp recovery that looks like this. If that happens, my guy, you buy that dip like you've never bought before, right? Because then you're going to get one more move to the upside. Now, we'll cover that when we get there. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But for now, I would say that's what I'm looking for out on bone, right? The other thing is you're not really forming the best divergences yet, right? So for now, let's just keep watching it and see what happens, right? On a daily, you're trying to get some divergences coming in here, but you might just push right through them to get to that next area of interest, okay? All right, so that's bone. Let me know if you have any questions, Crypto Viking, over that, or you have any other charts you want us to cover, and we'll get into them. All right, it looks like the next chart request, and correct me if I'm wrong, was Ethereum. So let me get that written down so I can, and I will timestamp all this for you guys after I'm done. It will just take me some time because I'm fairly new at all this, but I'll get there. All right, let me know when you guys can see the stream okay again. Sometimes when I switch back and forth, you guys will lose me. But let me know when you get back to the regular chart and off the DEX screener. If you could just pop something in the chat to let me know when we're there. And at that point, we will cover Ethereum. So I am a consumer of Ethereum, so maybe I'm a little too bullish. But in my opinion, I think that it's slated for more upside. Okay? So as long as things keep going the way they are, I think that we could see it make a decent reversal. Trying to get my stuff set back up here. After I move windows, I don't know why it lags out. I think that might even cause me to lose some of you guys. I don't know. I'll have to check into it. All right. Says it's all good. You guys' end. All right. So for me, the thing that I'm focusing on Ethereum. Yeah, dude, I hope it's helpful, Crypto Viking. You're super welcome, dude. God. I love this. Shouldn't turn that up loud. It's explicit music, YouTube. I'm not allowed to have copyrighted music. Get in trouble is what they say. All right, so anyway. So we were looking for a reversal. We covered this in our last macro stream. Let's put our fibs on so we can see them again. So we pull from a high to a low as a three-wave motion down, three-wave motion up, and a final three-wave motion down. Hold support at a 0.618. This is when I started becoming a consumer of it. You will also notice at the same time, if we pull from high to low to the high, we come to a 1.618. Due to the confluence of extensions here, I think that Ethereum is rather bullish. And I think that it's going to make a reversal that nobody sees coming. That's just my opinion. And also, again, it might just be my bias because I'm heavily invested in Ethereum. And I think that something could come from it. Okay? Because of this reversal, I do think that we are seeing either a valid 1-2 stacking here or an impulse to the upside that's done and a correction, and we're looking for further reversal. But I do think Ethereum's slated to make a new all-time high. I think that if we just base it upon our retraces and where we think all-time high could go, I think this is how Ethereum gets, I hate even saying these kind of numbers, 7,269 to 9,300. Now, we have many roadblocks on the way to this, right? We have the 786. We have to get back through the 888, which we've had many hits to. So imagine this is like an ice ceiling and your homie walked up with an ice pick and just started stabbing it. You'd be like, dude, stop. The ceiling's going to fall on us. The shit's going to break. So that's what I think is going to happen. When you make your next hit to the 4,000 area, everybody's going to be ready for shorts. Everybody's going to be ready to call its bluff. And the bluff ain't going to go so well, right? So in my opinion, let's see what happens. But I do think that Ethereum is bullish. You know, I think it could leave a lot of people behind. But let's zoom in here and see what's going on. All right. What should we be seeing here on the RSI that maybe should have let us know that we should have been buying some Ethereum? A three-wave motion to 1 through 1.382. And what did our RSI do? It resets very deeply, right? RSI is way down here, right? Reset with way back here with these prior pivots, meaning you have a hidden bull divergence. So if I was anybody interested in Ethereum, I know it sounds crazy, but I would be watching the hourly. And why I would be watching the hourly is the same setup we just looked at on numerous altcoins. If this pulls some sort of flat correction in the middle as a connector, And you can see Ethereum starting to move off like we're beginning from low to high. And I'm going to the previous high here because that's where I believe the top of the structure was before the correction. You can see we have center line reactions, and we're looking to break the top of a base channel. We're already past gateway drug and working on 786. If Ethereum can keep up the momentum and it can get some volume to come in to support the move, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, this fucking guy that's coming to the party, you could see this continue to give a good pump that no one expected, right? So I would say, you know, stay tuned for this guy. Don't give up on Ethereum. Don't get overly bullish, though, at the same time, right? We really would like to see this 4-hour candle close like this and establish a pivot and start to take out these external liquidities and move into any internal liquidities that are left behind, right? So I would think, for me, everybody's going to expect significantly deeper on Ethereum, just like Bitcoin, except it's not going to happen. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Let's check our Bitcoin plan and see how it's been going so far. All right. Fighting with the top of the base channel, right? Really good things to see. As you can see, volume overall with the move is slowly doing what? Just creeping up to the upside, right? So this could validate the move. We just need volume to continue onward with it. XRP's done the same thing for us, holding the pivot, volume starting to come up, right? Really good things. All right, let's go see which chart we had next. And thank you guys for all being here today. I know this is a lot of your time. And if you got any questions or charts, please let me know. And we'll just keep going through them until you guys run out, which I hope doesn't happen anytime soon because I'm having fun. All right, what do we got next? You asked for Ethereum. We killed that. VRA, I believe, is what you got next. If you get time, can you have a butcher's at VRA? Yeah, I will butcher VRA for you, Jamie. Let's go take a peek at it. I hope you guys are still doing okay out there. We're coming up on our 2-hour mark here. All right, so everybody that's part of the community knows how we kind of felt about VRA and what happened a long time ago. But I sold out. I don't own anymore. I don't know about everybody else. But we had a macro buy box here, right? We were all in the community buying this. So even in the middle of the box, you're back at our buy price right now. But we only made an ABC to the upside. So from our average buy box to the upside, you made 189% by being a member of the community. Oh, wow, you had to pay a membership fee. Who gives a shit? If you just hit one of these trades, you're great, right? So on VRA, they had a lot of bad news come in, which makes this an ABC to the upside. Heavy selling volume comes in because of the FUD and takes it down. In my opinion, I am not really interested in VRA too much because of that until it makes a new low, right? So if it gives another low, I will gain interest in this project again. Yes? So for now, I'm labeling that as a connector. And I'm going to say VRA gets one more move to the downside. Let's clean up some of our shit. I can still be bullish on it. But I do think you're going to get one more low here. So I think that next low, if I were to be a betting man, I would love to say it stops sooner, guys, right? Your next general support is at not. That's 3 zeros. 876. But the more common area of interest and support will not come in for VRA until that's 3 zeros again, 387. This is not the kind of project I'm interested in holding on to, right? This is the kind of project that makes my eyes get really big and my butt get really tight and I'm scared being at the seat, right? I want nothing to do with shit that looks like this. To me, this looks like it's going to make another low, right? Sorry if that's too honest. Just really not something I'm interested in. Yeah, dude, we nailed along on that one. Ethereum paid out. AERO paid out, right? Like even that's another thing to note, right? Like if you were a member of the community and you're following these trades, AERO is where you got in was here, the flats of the candle, right? And we were all saying, nah, man, some sort of leading diagonal, blah, blah, blah. I got out around 80%. I don't give a shit about missing another 8% when I make 80. I think that just makes you a greedy pig. But dude, there's so many great plays that have been out there. We've also been playing SEI a lot lately, leverage and spot. And I do think that this is setting up for quite a good play coming up soon. Everybody's going to call bullshit on this one, but I think it's going to do something amazing. So I was buying this yesterday like an idiot, and we'll see if it pans out or not. But for now, I think, right? I'm saying think again. I think that you saw 5 waves to the upside. Let's delete everything and take a look at it. You can see that we had the base channel that we always talk about. We broke out of the base channel. I longed on this guy. We sell out for the 3, pull back in 4. Some of us were arguing back and forth that maybe the 4 was actually a 2. But it ended up being shallow and easy, and then you go for another 5 waves, probable for the wave 5 of 5. Let's get rid of this. Due to what we're seeing so far, there is the potential of one more leg to the downside on this guy, and that's something I really want to be open to, and that's because of the way the motion starts, right? So far, it hasn't given us impulsive vibes to the upside, but it's trying, right? If it can hit the 1.618 and hold a wave 4 retracement, excuse me, meaning shallow and not ever touching, not 0.2081, you could see SEI move up for more, right? I do think SEI still has a lot of potential. The reason why I say this is because our initial leg was what percentage, guys? About 46. So I'm looking for another 46%, right? Without fear. And I think another reason you're going to possibly get that is because of this choppy, bullshitty move to the upside, right? You'd be hard-pressed to call this an impulse, right? It could be a correction, or it could just be a really shitty beginning wave of something. We'll find out more later when we see how the rest of these lower time frame counts play out. But if our lower time frames end up playing out into that larger time frame we just looked at, SEI can make amazing moves, right? And again, you would just be using your extensions from a low to a high to a current low and look for that 1 through 1.382 and a C, right? If you're lucky, you get a 3. If you're lucky, you get a 5. If you're lucky, you keep moving upward for SEI, okay? Does anybody have any questions over any altcoins or anything we have covered so far today? Seeming like maybe you guys are getting a little tired, so maybe we'll shut it down soon. All right. It looks like the next person asking for something is Nameless Monster. And you're talking about FARTCOIN and FARTBOY for maybe spot, if that's correct. I love it. Let's go look at it. I think that we're going to have to use a deck screener again for this, so I apologize. All right, so FARTCOIN for me, FARTCOIN could take quite a little bit longer to march its way down the stairs, right? I don't think that its correction is over yet. I think it might only just be beginning. And this is what I placed on the Twitter as my primary account and what I want to stick to for now. If you are lucky, this move to the downside was the correction, right? You can see it staying in a base channel, right? So in validation of my bigger bull scenario, you can put invalidation at the highs and the lows now, because now you have 2 pivots, right? So if you're lucky, let's get rid of this. Well, actually, let's put a new one so you can see it. If it's just an ABC, where does it stop, sir? 1 through 1.382, right? So if we go from high to low to high, and we judge just off our corrective extensions, 1 through 1.382, this has a high probability to try to retrace past these highs. Yes? So FARTCOIN could make the reversal, but it's going to have to prove it on lower time frames, right? due to how it's trying to chop, chop, chop so far, until this gets impulsive and starts to validate, it could just be a 335 to the upside before further downside. Yes? Let's add an extension here from this high to low to the high. Good. It held what? 1 through 1.382. Never hit 1.618. As soon as FARTCOIN can push its price up and cause overlap at $1.08, you get to say a low is in and that you're likely to take the highs. I think that's pretty cool, right? Because now you're going to be able to actively find a pivot, right? So I would say whoever's holding FARTCOIN right now could possibly still get paid out. You just need to invalidate that larger scenario. So let's go take a look at that really quickly to see why I thought you could be looking for a deeper correction. It's on the 3-day. So we can see that the move up did what? Began to form RSI divergences, meaning higher closures on price action, but not RSI. And again, largest volume comes in the potential wave 3 area, and then it kind of falls off a little bit as we go into the wave 5. They try to maintain, but the sellers just took over, right? So my largest concern would be that this is the first leg to the downside in a B to the upside, and then it could reverse, right? If it does that, my area of interest for me to come back to this project on a macro is 0.1291 to 0.4989. Does it mean it has to happen? No, right? Because we just looked at the lower time frames and gave reasons why you could potentially see that reversal. Does that make sense? Let me know if you have any questions, Nameless. But essentially, until we can see the lower time frame reversal that we were looking at together, it's going to be really hard to say yes for sure it's happening. Does that make sense? So that we need those lower time frames to invalidate. If they can invalidate, then we'll start to talk about these targets to the upside. But for right now, I think my primary for this is downside, unfortunately. And even when they listed it on Coinbase, man, that was like a red flag for me. I was like, this shit is too popular now, right? It's like when all your jackass friends started getting the poofy haircut that makes them look like a broccoli or a cauliflower, where the top of their hair is all fucking curly and the sides are all shaved all tight. Everybody's got that haircut. Then every asshole wanted a mullet haircut with shiny sunglasses so you can't see their eyes, right? As soon as the trend, everybody's in on it, it means it's starting to come to the end. It's just like the house party effect that we always talk about, right? So for me on FARTCOIN, you're gonna have to prove it, right? So let's see that happen. Please ask me for chart requests. I would love doing them for you. Come check out the Discord community. We give you a free week trial, dude. You have nothing to lose. And I'll do FARTCOIN and FARTBOY for you every single day. I don't know if you like my vibe, but this is who I am every day. I have no time for bullshit or lies to you. I'm not a trade signals group, right? People always tell me, you got it wrong. Blah. How the fuck? It's not about getting it right or wrong. I gave you multiple paths, right? This is so that you can learn, so that people can learn how to chart so they can fish for themselves in the future, right? I already know how to fish. I'm just showing you the paths. That way other people can start to take these opportunities. All right, so let's look at FARTBOY if you don't have any other questions, sir. I would love to get a reversal on FARTBOY. Where is he at? There he is. You got the beats going, man. It's keeping it fueled up. All right. So ifs and buts were candies and nuts, my macro count on FARTBOY is still going to be the main reason why I'm calling for downside. I do not think this move corrected all of this, right? You have volume divergences, RSI divergences between the 3 and the 5 coming in. So as long as FARTBOY is fighting these divergences, both on RSI and volume, I think your first area of interest isn't till here, right? And I can show you on a MEXC chart other ways to find this, right? but I do think you're not done correcting yet, right? If it's lucky, it may pull a little move to the upside and get FARTBOY back into that 0.08 cent range. But man, it's going to take some real moves, right? I love that the market cap's big for it. I love that the liquidity's going well for it. The volume here is showing a lot of movement. But overall, right, we're not seeing any interest from buyers. You are making a hidden bull divergence on the RSI. So if it can reverse, you could see FARTBOY, like we talked about last stream, moving up a little bit, right? So we just adjust that target slightly. That gives us 0.070 to 0.12, let's say. Okay? So nothing really changed there. At best, it corrects upwards before another leg to the downside. I cannot give it full probability of this impulsivity, 25 cents, new all-time high shit yet. I just can't, right? And that's because I got to be objective with myself. Is it something I would honestly do for myself? Currently, no. This is not something I would buy for me, my grandma, or someone who gave me free money, right? Until it can form an hourly reversal, meaning this gives you some sort of 5-wave motion with displacement and a 3-wave pullback, no interest. Not a bit. And the reason why is there's too many other projects. There's too many other projects with much better setups that are going to currently give me return on my investment. I am not a person that's here to give this company fucking CTO coin, XRP, whatever it is. I please do not get it twisted. I ain't a hater of fucking FARTBOY or any of these. I love them all. But until it can give me reversal signs and symptoms, I'm just gambling, right? Don't be a gambler. Be an investor. You don't have time for this shit. You have time to make money, right? So in my opinion, I think that's what's most probable. Okay? Does anybody have any questions over FARTBOY? Just let me know. And we will cover it more. Alright. If anybody needs anything, let me know. Let's put in some more chart requests if you guys got them. I am going to try to send out one more last hit on the Twitter and see if we can get some people to come in and chat with us. See if we can keep the party pumping. And if we can, we will keep on keeping on. But let's see if we can get some more people to come in the stream and hype this place up. Do you guys have any more altcoins you want to talk about or anything you want to cover? Look at that. Go SEI, go. So what's SEI doing right now, guys? It's validating your long. Yeah, we looked at SUI early in the stream, sir, but we can go look again. Do you see SEI is validating your long? If I wasn't with you guys right now, I'd be looking for a long right now. Addy, if you could go hit up people in the community and let them know SEI is doing something, right? I don't want anybody to miss this. So it could be something big. You could be looking into your 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. She could get 3, 4, and 3, 4 and boot scooting. So pay attention to this one, guys. Volume supports a move. It's fucking the move. If it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. If it smells like shit, it's probably shit, right? What's the old saying? If it smells like dog shit, there's shit somewhere. One of you got shit on your shoe, right? So this is going to pop off again. Great longs can be had on opportunities like this. So pay attention when you see shit like this. Get your base channels on so you have invalidation points, right? Coming up to center line. Might give a light pullback and then another push. Things like this are good, man. Oh, we got the coins Kate in his house. All right, what's up? Let me make a Twitter post, everybody, to make sure everybody's coming in. 1 second. See if we can get some people to show up today. It's lately the Twitter, I'm pretty sure, has been broken or something, man. I don't know. It's super weird. I was kind of surprised because like none of my posts were getting any attention. There was no comments, there was no nothing, you know, and then I was like, I don't know what's going on, and then I find out, oh, your account's flagged. Like, oh, thank you. That's helpful. So, all right, let's keep the party going. It looks like we got a couple more chart requests just coming in. If you don't mind, share the stream with your friends, giving it a thumbs up, always making comments, the little silly emoji button that you can push in the corner that pops off the hearts and shit. For some reason, Bitcoin. For some reason, YouTube pays attention to that. And if the chat stream is fired up and people are going off, you get a lot more folks to be able to come get in on the party with us. All right, so let's keep going. Looks like Tau short term. Are you in a long on it, CJ? You know how I feel about. We got a little Paul Wall in the house. I don't know if you guys remember Paul Wall. Do you remember "Break 'Em Off" and the Grills song? When I was a young man, I had a grill. You would never imagine it, but I loved it. It was absolutely amazing. I love music. I think it's too amazing. But, all right. So Tau on the shorter time frames, Kate, is going to kind of be like how we looked at the rest of our altcoins. What do you see here, though, that gets you stoked up, right? I'm not going to call it inverse head and shoulders because people are going to be like, it's not fucking proper. But it's got that inverse head and shoulderies kind of shape. It's also wasn't a long and got out. Son of a bitch. All right. It is warming up. Everything is warming up, baby. Do you remember why, though? Why does this shit happen? Because you get fear, right? So number one, you have fear. Then you take that fear and couple that fear with war, and the charts are bloody, and everybody's feeling like shit, right? And what happens after everybody's scared and everybody's feeling like shit? Then we catch the pump, right? And everybody's like, oh my God, I can't fucking believe I got left behind again, right? So now everybody's like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh my God. Or they sell off their spot as it goes up and they keep taking profits as it goes up, all that shit, right? So let's talk about Tau. So we don't exactly have the best volume yet, Kate. But let's delete everything and work through just the local. So first thing I would do is a base. And I would treat it just how we did on XRP and the other coins. See how the high's made in a very three-wave fashion? I don't know about you, but I don't dig it, right? So I think this is my actual high. So I'd place a base from low to high. We get out of the base and we're moving. We're boogieing, right? Again, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see where we're going on extensions. Let's go from low to high to low. We're at 1, 2, 3, 6. What do we need to validate? Say, Jay. You got in at the lowest and you got paid. That's all that matters. Hell yeah. So what I would have to do if I want to re-enter a trade like this one, I don't think I'd be looking to take it right here in the middle, right? I would be looking for this to validate the move. Give me a three-wave pullback, right? After a wave 3 hits an extension, the wave 4 typically likes to fall back 2 placements. It is probable that we could get a much deeper pullback, right? In that case, then, you would be looking at some sort of 1 into 2, a final third, come down in a fourth, that you do not overlap into 1 or come back in a base channel, and then give you that final fifth. I think your wave 4 strategy will be your best way to strategize against this coin because you're already out, right? So getting back in the middle of a range when this could just be a C wave to the upside would feel like shit, right? So in my opinion, I'd turn on my wave 4 retrace template and I would tell myself, I want to see a pullback to 236, 382, but not even get near that 315, honestly, because you're going to be going back in the base channel so deep. And your wave 4 to 2 ratio would make no sense. Yeah? So that's, in my opinion, what I'd be looking for on Tau. Do you have any questions over that one, CJ? And that's a very low time frame look at it. The higher time frames aren't so great on it, right? Nothing makes me want to run out and be a massive buyer of this shit coin that's bouncing around in a range aimlessly like a drunk man down a street at 2 a.m. I'm just not into it. But what I would do is put a range fib from a high to my low. And I would put an idiot box on it. And I would tell myself, until this leaves an idiot box, you know, for spot, I'm not like hyper overly stoked on this, right? You might be able to get some more leverage plays, but you really need to see how this leg comes up to the upside, because you'd be screwed if this is the end of something, right? So I would say stick to the micro, try to make some money there off the reversal, but outside of that, doesn't look that great. Oh, dude, you're out, Dineske. All right, buddy, take it easy, dude. We'll miss you. All right, so we did Tau. If you don't have any other questions, she says no thanks. Let's keep on keeping on. All right, so was long and got out. What else do we have here? We looked at SUI. I'm almost positive. Correct me if I'm wrong. You might be able to go back and look back in the stream. It was the third coin we covered, I believe. If we didn't cover it, anybody, just let me know and we'll go back and hit it again. Jamie, if you're still here, my dude, let's cover XLM really quickly for you. Yes? Let's look at our XRP pump, because it's still coming. And our Bitcoin pump, because she's outside the base channel, right? Things are going well for a lot of these cryptos. Starting to warm up, starting to turn around. All right. Doesn't mean it will continue onward, though, so never get too overzealous. Don't tell yourself it has to happen. All right, so let's go look at XLM. Thanks for all the good charts today, guys. This has been really fun. We're knocking them out of the park. All right, so a lot of times I like to start out here on our larger time frame. I do think that XLM is getting quite hopeful for one more high. The reason why I say that is because when we look at it from the standpoint of Elliott Wave, you can see a move up, a move down, a move up, in this massive range that it's in, right? This is highly unlikely to be a wave 2 and a gigantic wave 4, right? So this one is not making me so stoked on life, right? XLM doesn't make me think, you know, it's going to crank off some new things. Maybe it can, right? It's done crazier things. But it does concern me that we could see a potential 3-wave motion right there, and this was just the partner leg to it all, right? So that would be my largest concern for XLM, if I go from low to high to low, was that this is just a flat style correction, right? This range is so long, it makes it hard for me to want to get behind more, right? So when I even zoom in on the daily, again, what do we notice? Let me turn off volume so we can see our lows better. You would have overlap here, right, guys? Between a 1 and a 4. That's a rule break in Elliott Wave. Unless it's a diagonal. But what is the fuck up if it's a diagonal? Well, if you go from the high of 1 to the low of probable 2 to the high of probable 3, you can see that your wave 4 comes down to 1.618 times, or 618 times plus itself, the length of wave 2, making it expanding leading diagonal, which is rare, right? If you're lucky, this was a correction to chain together to the upside in an ABC or something like that in an A, and you came down in a B, and you might only give a corrective motion to the upside. I wouldn't be super stoked on this one, looking for some massive target, right? And that's unfortunate. But for now, that's what we have to go with. So if it's lucky, it forms a reversal here, but it has to prove it on lower time frames, right? And by that, we mean breaking base channels. We mean hitting 1.618s. So, sir, this is what I would do. I would place my retracement fib from the low to the high, so I can see that I hold my 786. That's my invalidation for my project now. If I lose it, I'm up the damn creek, as they say, with no paddles and basically no fucking boats, so it won't matter. So what you're looking for is this base channel to break from low to high and really start to give kind of a V-shaped recovery out of here. By that, I mean a 5-wave motion of some kind. Whether it's a C or a wave 3, we'll find out later, but you're looking for a sharp recovery, a shallow retrace that doesn't come down and take the lows, giving that V-shaped look, then a successive motion, a pullback, and a final push. Now, that could be done in a C. Or you get lucky, we get a center line reaction, we don't pull back deep, your 3 gets bigger and gets out of the base channel, 4 holds the base channel, and 5 continues onward, and what? A wave C. Or, a wave 3, my bad, my dudes. Right? So that's how this thing could get going. But until it does, you're just a hopeful hodler, as they would say, as Warren Buffett would say. Hodl, hodl, hodl. Play your little fucking ukulele and hodl, hodl, hodl. And hopefully things work out for you. But the hard part is eventually, you know, hodling, it doesn't always pay off, unfortunately. Right? So that is something to be aware of. If you hit a C wave resistance at 36 cents, excuse me, it's shot in the ass. It's going to come down. Right? So that's just my opinion. I love it though. Let's see if XLM can give the recovery. I think the project's amazing. I think that they do amazing things. They do amazing work. XLM's great asset to move your money around. It happens quick and effortlessly, usually within a minute. With some of the lowest fees I've ever seen in since Tron. Or what the fuck? TRX, whatever the hell people called it. I always think of the movie Tron. Brah, the motorcycles. That was the sickest movie ever. All right. If you don't have any other questions over XLM, I'll keep rolling. Looks like 611 wants us to cover HBAR. We have not covered it yet. Does anybody else have any other altcoins? And if you could let me know, how's the stream going for you guys? Is this something you want me to keep doing on Mondays? Would you like more streams? Would you like more streams on Mondays, or is there a day of the week that's better for you? Just let me know. I wonder if I can make a poll here. Engage with your audience. Yeah, let's make a poll. So let's do this. Let's see what you guys think. We'll just put a little poll in the chat, and I want to see if you guys like this time slot, and if it's working out well for you, for the time slot that we're running it, for the style of stream that we're running it, right? Do you like this form of just keeping it loose, letting you guys just put chart requests in? Or would you rather me try to put some sort of structure to it? You know, you guys just let me know what's working out best for you.
It's easy to access wherever you are. So whether you're talking or texting, Meta AI is convenient to
All right. Yeah, everybody's loving it. There should be a little poll in the chat if you guys want to click it. Just let me know what your thoughts are. But overall, for XLM, we're just looking for a correction to the upside. So, all right, let's move on to HBAR. And thanks, dude. Thanks, everybody, for letting me know how you feel about things. It's really big. Helps me to make better choices for you in the future, right? So I show up when you want the stream. All right, keep it up. I've been in and out so far, but it's great. I like it, dude. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so what I think you see going on here for HBAR is an expanded correction off the lows. So if you pull a retrace fib from low to high, you can see our flat candles stop at the 888. I'm very curious how close we got to that 105. Not even close to the one line. That's okay. So that makes it where it doesn't invalidate. But the issue is it becomes what, guys? Oh, I love this song. Do you guys know this song? The Gianni, I'm going to hack this, Shichi Opera. You may have heard it. Romance of the Violin. I think it's amazing. Any hooser. Let's keep going. So we won't be able to really channel an expanded motion yet. But that's what I'm going to go with as my most probable move up for HBAR on the local. Would just be an expanded flat if you're lucky, right? That means you take the highs of the possible first high and you look for 1 through 1.236, right? That would get you from 0.23 cents to 0.29 cents on HBAR before another low, right? And to me, it's no different than XLM. It's like, what are you going to get to chain this together? You can't bullshit your way through this, right? If it proves itself and rampages up here and hits 33, 34 cents again, we'll call it something else. But for right now, I would say my highest probability scenario is just a regular flat off the lows. Okay? Let's see if we can tinker around with this here for a second. I highly doubt this is it. Wow, 2236, that's crazy. So let's say this is a correction, right? So if you're looking for early signs and symptoms, what would you do? Let me click this off. That is not what we wanted. This is experimental, so I don't know how this is going to work. We're trying it here, though. You would actually go to here. Yes. Okay. So if this is how we would channel this kind of corrective motion here, as this is the last connector within it, we'll show our connection points, and then we want to look for good center line reactions after, right? So first point of connection, second point of connection, third point of connection, excuse me. After which you have good center line reactions, good center line reactions, good center line reactions, but not quite to the bottom of the channel, which is surprising for me, but maybe it forms a reversal. So I would stay hopeful for it, right? I would look for some sort of 5-wave motion that gets up like this. Maybe even back test the deceleration channel and gets everybody excited, but then fails at our 1 through 1.382 zone, okay? Let me know if you have any questions over that. All right. We got 5 votes and everybody likes it this time slot and everything, dude. Thank you. So that's cool. All right. I don't want to jump off if you guys have anything else. So we did HBAR. I'm just going to do a quick recap talk through everything we've covered, guys. We covered Bitcoin, XRP, SUI, VeChain, IOTA, Hype, AERO, WIF, Bone, Ethereum, SEI, Tau, XLM, and HBAR. Is there anything else that you guys would like me to cover while we are here? You just let me know and we'll get it done. Anything at all. That's why we're here today. If you guys have anything else, let me know. If not, I will end it with a huge thank you. And I do appreciate you guys all coming and making your time to be here today. And if you need anything else, do reach out. Again, I love the charts. Is there anything I'm looking at? I think my biggest coins, that's a good question. I think my biggest coins that I'm really focused on right now, for kind of like terms of looking for upside due to what we've seen recently, I think is SEI, which we've already talked about. I think AERO is honestly my strongest coin that I'm looking for reactions out of, because like we talked about earlier in the stream, we were looking for much higher targets on AERO. Okay, so I think that AERO is my lead horse in the race right now. So I'd have to say AERO, SEI. Man, you got me up against the wall here. I feel like I'm just getting... IOTA would be my other one. I really like XRP also. Even if it's in an ending diagonal, the gains are still decent, right? Because I have super easy validation here for a potential 70-something% gain. Even if it's a slow grind, that's okay with me. I like a slow grind every now and again. But I would say those are... someone got the joke. But I would say those are what I'm potentially looking for the most. I do think that WIF could yield some potentially good upside like we've talked about also. But again, right, it's like these local legs need to hold as invalidation. So I am too. You know, I'm really hoping that AERO gives the deeper leg. I think if it didn't, it would be rare. We'd have to count all this as 1-2 stacking, which I feel is bullshit to the utmost, but that's okay. If it leaves me behind, I'll get in where I can. But yeah, I would say those are the ones I'm interested in. And it's basically because I have to stick to my strategies, right? I can't go after things that don't fit the strategy. You know what I mean? As soon as I do that, I'm going to get burnt, right? So I'm just tooling around really quickly. God, Whiff's reversal is looking way juicy so far. But yeah, so that's it really, you know. Tao, like Kate pointed out, is looking to try to validate this move. If you can get this, guys, even on Tao, if you can get this, you broke a base channel. The angle of the dangle is amazing. You're in an internal fair value gap. You find acceptance here and give some sort of sideways correction. That's a wave 4 opportunity, right? On a 3x lever, dude, she'll rain. Look at that. 3 times 8, nothing, baby. Ride it all day. 24%, I'm in. You know what I mean? And if you trade proper with great risk management and you're not risking more than 2% of your total trading port per trade, you're setting trades up the way you know you should, everything will be okay. Right? But if you're out here pulling bullshit, swinging a hammer around, and just tossing darts everywhere, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to lose. Right? So you're going to lose again and again and again. It's unfortunate, but it is the most common aspect and thing that you'll see in trading is people will continually lose because they're over risking or they're chasing this trade, right? So they're telling themselves again and again and again, like, fuck, it's leaving me. So they just keep buying in. Next thing you know, you're like, what's happening, dude? Why am I so left behind all the time, right? It's due to your piss poor mental game. So you have no mental trading aspect. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't understand why you're failing, right? And you'll continue to fail if you don't understand. So that's why it's hypercritical to document these trades, right? Man, you could live trade the shit out of this right here. This is about to give it to us. SEI was too, I think. Yeah, look at this. Doing it. Doing it. Just going to give it to you. If it breaks those fibs, man, it'll go. But it all started here, right? This all started with our Bitcoin long, guys. And if you're in the community, you were in the know, right? You got hooked up. It was just like on a silver platter this morning. Like, here's all the fibs. And here's the invalidation. Here's the base channel, right? And it's done that way so that people can learn. That's how someone taught me. They never handed me anything. They weren't like, here's your entry, your invalidation, and your TPs, buddy. Hope you have a great day trading. No, that shit's never going to work, right? We have to engage. We have to make these hard choices. And you can do it, right? Look at XRP just fucking smashing it out, right? You would have had this trade too if you applied this same theory, right? So I took a long on both of these positions. My stop losses are in profits. Nothing's wrong with my day. You can do this once, twice, 3 times a week at most, and you're going to be overall profitable. Just don't overtrade. Stick to a plan. All right, guys. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. I love doing the live streams. We'll keep them up every single Monday around that 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I truly, truly appreciate you guys coming. The only thing I ask is that if you could like the stream, pop some comments on it, share it with your friends, post it to your Twitter and stuff. I'll timestamp everything. All the altcoins will be in there, and I will get this posted up for all of you here shortly. So again, my deepest thank yous, guys. I know this takes up a lot of your time, and I just want you to know I really appreciate you guys. It would be nothing without you. No one would be here to watch this shit. Nobody would care. But it's because of you guys that I come every day. You motivate me, and I won't give up because of you. So Thank you, guys. Bye, everybody.